It's Matt Mosley Show. Oh, and you know that other beautiful graphic will be up later because our buddies over at C&B, they were so excited, Scotty. Our presenting sponsor, Central National Bank, yesterday. I took that picture during the first segment of that new graphic up on the board. They were so pleased. Ascension Providence, thank you very much. And what an exciting day to be on. Scotty, in a former life, I was an investigative writer for the Dallas Morning News. In fact, that first Baylor basketball scandal, well, it wasn't the first, but most significant one in 2003, I was all over that story for the Dallas Morning News. And Scotty, what made me think about this today is there are further developments in the NBA situation with Kawhi Leonard and whatever Steve Ballmer was doing. And Pablo finds out that podcast, Pablo Torre, should, Scotty, I just dip back into my old investigative past and just turn this into an investigative live show. Now, his is more of a podcast. I mean, the genius of that is that there's a lot of podcasts out there. There's a lot of streaming. There's a lot of, nobody was really doing a hardcore. There's true crime podcasts. There's weather podcasts. There's anything in the world you could want. Nobody in sports, at least, was doing where they were presenting and breaking news like they were the New York Times or the Washington Post or the Waco Trib or the Dallas Morning News. Nobody was doing what he's doing. And so they're literally breaking all this huge NBA possible salary cap circumvention news on a podcast. I like it. I like people who reinvent things. I like people who are cutting edge, who are innovative. And we strive to be that way here on the Mosley Show. I mean, by my standards, this is the most innovative thing I've ever done. A man who does live radio for 20 years. Same thing. Scotty, you're always throwing all these other shows at me. Apparently, our man Zach's always requesting that you be on his Big Time Country show. But that's pretty cool what Rogue has decided to do. It's take all these highly popular, somewhat almost, in his case, legendary. I'm not saying I am. Whatever people want to say. But no, I'm not saying I am. But you take these personalities, and then all of a sudden you're streaming them, and you're doing streaming shows and live shows and YouTube. This is where America's going. And I can't say how many times in press boxes, somebody, old school, new school, whatever, they'll come up to me and go, "I think you're doing the right thing." Now, the other part of that is they're I'm never going to do that. I'm not going to try to do what you're doing, but I think it's good. And I think it's good to be with you today as the Mosley Show, the live presentation, 1 to 3, every day on YouTube. I like to call it 1 to whatever we feel like. But because we've promised you and because we aim to deliver, we take you to 3. We do. Now, there are days for instance, the Fridays before game day when Scotty is just oh my gosh. We might play with the time a little bit just to free Scotty up. My whole goal in life is to just try to make life easier on Scotty Swingler. He's a man. He's a very busy man. Oh, there he is. Look at that. Oh, right above his head, too. That Central National Bank. Put it right there. Wear it like a hat, Scotty. I know what I really want. By the time we get to game day, I want somebody that watches our show on a daily basis to bring us, and I'll pay. I'm not like one of these freeloaders like most people are in radio and streaming. I will pay if you'll bring us some growler, even if you're just a fan of the show, and I'll reimburse you. But I would like some of that growler bear gear. And if you bring it to the game day show, which we're out at the Camp Fimfo campsite, which is on Brazos Parking, MLK, right across MLK from the stadium. If you drop by our broadcast area and you give Scotty and now Faith is much more in shape, and she's ever so I would not even guess to say like what size or whatever she would need, whatever like a Olympic level type volleyball player would need. For Scotty and me, Scotty and I need XL or XXL. Scotty would prefer probably like a large or XL. All right. I mean,
no,
man.
You forget Matt Mosley. Despite my pretty normal middle-aged man physique, I am also 5'7", and so an extra large would just drown me.
What do you want? A large?
I wear a medium if it's a little looser fitting, or a large if it's not.
Yeah. There's not a man in this country that should go public with asking for a medium T-shirt. Except guys who are fit like you. That's fine.
You're right. I am the definition of fitness.
I think. Well, you are. Metabolism's still good to you. You are a shorter man, but you're also not I'm telling you, guys, your height, the weight can get away from you, and you have somehow held that at bay. I think it's all the coffee you drink. I think you burn calories just by the work ethic. And you probably just don't eat much throughout the day, kind of like me, I mean, now again, I know how to fast, but I also come off the fast in a very aggressive fashion. I get so excited to see Central National Bank up there. Brian Fonville, Joe Nesbitt, the entire Nesbitt family, they were SAEs over at Baylor. We had to put the kibosh on them back when the Phi Gams ran that campus. And but we love those Nesbitts and love the bank, love that bank, and they run the bank, and they have for a long time. The owners of that bank, wow! I mean, you just start naming ambassadors, former ambassadors in this country, the titans of industry, and I'll just say, yep. Another owner of Central National Bank. Love it, and I love the fact that more and more of our sponsors are coming over. In fact. And we need to get to we got a big take right off the top today on Baylor football that we need to talk about. But I just thought it was cool. I was having a conversation today, and that's one of the things we can do for advertisers. That's very cool because the new owner at Schmaltz's was like, well, we don't really, we don't have the pre-made. We don't really have a TV commercial or whatever. Scotty, that's what we do. It's what we do. Like, we'll come up with one until we get what we want. We'll just talk about Schmaltz's and that unbelievable sandwich shop that they are. But I told him, I said, don't stress on this. Britt Tully's the new owner. He's a good dude. And Nelson Rhule is still on as a consultant, longtime owner. Nelson's a very close. Now, Nelson's an old school radio guy. Britt will be over with us. He'll be following us every day on the stream. I don't know what I'm going to have to do, Scotty, to get Nelson on the stream. All right. Nelson is of a generation that they're not totally ready for the stream, but the stream is here. The stream is here to stay. And somebody send Nelson Rhule these comments. Let him know I'm still talking about him, even though he sold the greatest sandwich shop in the country. The good news is he kept it with a guy that knows what he's doing. And he's not going to change a thing. He's going to have the same great bread, the same great ingredients, and the same locations out there on Valley Mills and the one on Franklin, the one downtown that we've loved for generations. All right. I'm a Baylor Bear, and we would just venture off campus. The only thing I would like for Britt to do is kind of like what they're doing at A&M with opening the Buc-ee's on campus. I would like an on-campus Schmaltz's, which, by the way, is where it started many, many years ago over where the Busy Beaver ended up, kind of near the business school. There was a Schmaltz's, I want to say in the old days, right over there. So as a young Scotty Swingler was making his way across campus and talking to the young ladies and had his backpack, and it was pre-scooter. He might have been on a bicycle, probably used to run by that Student Foundation building. He's a guy that would give back to the university like that. But Scotty, that there was a Schmaltz's like right over there, like right there on campus. So let's bring back Schmaltz to campus. Maybe put it right over there by Common Grounds. Okay, we'll give Blake. Scotty, you seem like a guy who knows Blake. You would know Blake Batson, but Blake's a big entrepreneur in town, and he's a little bit older than you. But there's a good chance y'all have crossed paths. Is that correct? He's a guy that likes to turn the cap around backwards.
We have crossed paths. I don't think he knows who I am.
Oh, okay.
And he's never answered my calls or text messages
Does
about
not.
shows on the Rogue Media Network.
Well, that'll change because who was a big time sponsor of mine on the Mosley show for several years? None other than Blake Batson and his wife, his lovely wife, and his father-in-law, who we sadly have lost. Used to do radio with me back in the day. And that would be the great E.P. Garth, which I think might have been like a stage name. I'm trying to think. It was just a really cool. He was a great guy. He taught out at Midway, and E.P. was a good friend. And we lost him about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. But great family, the Batsons. So we'll get him on the phone for you. Scotty, if you're ever having trouble reaching someone, call me. All right. And just say, hey, Mosley, I need a little help here. Like I'm the wrong guy to ever call about like getting any paperwork done or getting anything scanned in or actually leaving my house. But in terms of calling somebody, happy to do it. Always happy to do it. I'm a teammate, if nothing else. Okay. We've got a lot for you today. And in fact, Cam Stewart is going to drop by. Scotty, you'll have to help me explain, but I do think there's a little bit of beef going on, and it involves something we did on our show, and then Cam has now talked about on his show, and he seems to be taking some little pokes, and some of it is based on your love of Matt Rhule and how you pine away at times for the good old days of Matt Rhule. And boy, he really refuted, and he kind of made it personal. And so today I'll serve as the moderator and kind of the arbitrator, the judge, jury, and whatever I'll decide. But both of you guys are good friends of mine. And so I think I'm a good guy to kind of sit. In fact, if I had an old judge's gown or whatever we call that, a judge's robe, and even one of those old Tory, I don't know why I would go British, but I would like to wear like one of those things as we talk. He'll join us at 2. About 1:35, we'll do Campus Confidential. That's where Scotty runs through a lot of the big college stories of the day, and we will react to that. At some point, if I have time, I'm so stoked about these Rangers. Wow. Who knew? Who in the world knew? It's just unbelievable. They're in the playoff race. They're in a race. We used to call them pennant races. I don't think people do that anymore. They're pennant race. They're in it. They're in this thing. They could win the division. The Astros are just kind of plugging along like, we're barely here. We're barely here. They got a big 3-game set with the Angels. We'll be monitoring things as the Rangers get ready to play the Mets. And so that's exciting as well. But, Scotty, I'll tell you what I want to get into right here is a little Baylor football. As we get ready for the game day show, it'll be starting at 8 a.m. I believe the KWTX and some of our TV partners, they'll jump in with us at about 9 a.m. Scotty, if I ever say anything wrong, you just correct me because most of the stuff I just spitball. But we as of yesterday, it looks like we're going to have an incredible Baylor legend. He's in the Baylor Hall of Fame. And Alfred Anderson, one of the great all-time running backs, not only from Waco, but for Baylor. And then he played for years for the Vikings. Scotty, we lucked out because I think Alfred was thinking, you know what? I like to get into the Letterman's Lounge or the Letter Winners Lounge and enjoy myself. And I'm not going to veer too far off the path. And in a moment, Scotty, that I think you would have really respected, I tried to convince Alfred that where he's parking is basically right next to our set. I think that may even be true. But he is going to run by, and he'll be on with us right around 9:20 on Saturday morning as Faith, Lynch, Scotty, and I we do the game day live, and who knows what all we'll have. Scotty's always got Ganaway stopping by. He's a fun guy. You never know. I mean, I don't try to push alcohol on anybody. Lord knows that my parents listen to this and wouldn't want that. I will say where we do our show from, I think is the one place literally in the entire tailgating area. Brazos parking, that side is where the most fun happens. I used to be at Touchdown Alley, and I enjoyed myself over there. But in terms of, is there any place that you could buy a beer, in the entire Baylor tailgating experience? And the answer is literally right next to where we'll be. All right. So I am not above bringing people into our audience based on where we're located. And I saw that Auburn game, all the people in that Auburn, what color are they, Scotty? Orange or something? All the orange people were lined up. And plus, while you're over there, Scotty, is that where Blake Blackmar is? He has his barbecue, and I believe he'll sell you a plate for like $15, and it's unbelievable.
Listen,
it has some sides over there.
Blake's barbecue, legitimately, and I don't just say this because I'm a Baylor football fan, because any of my friends know I am the biggest barbecue snob that I know. Certainly, I don't like bad barbecue. It drives me crazy. Blake's barbecue is as good as just about anything you can get in the state. It's really, really good. I've actually cooked against Blake in a barbecue competition before. Neither of us placed, I think, that year in brisket. we were both really hoping to, but his stuff is excellent. Yeah.
Wow, man, you are a man of every day. You reveal something new. The international mystery man that is Scotty Swingler. Now, Scotty, and we can get back into this in the 2:00 hour, but I find this Baylor situation fascinating right now. And I bring this up in the context of these other teams. Anybody who acts like they have a clue in the Big 12 right now is just winging it. Is BYU good? Yeah, they're okay. They're okay. I don't know if I trust that young quarterback, Bear Bachmeier. Let's see him get involved in a game. Let's see, like Colorado and Houston, get it on this weekend. Let's start seeing some conference matchups and see who's good and who's bad. Colorado's already on his third-string quarterback. Houston has Connor Wigman, who started the season as the starting quarterback for the A&M Aggies. A&M has a habit of sending out some pretty good quarterbacks across the country. You might have noticed Kyler Murray. So as we look across the league, if we're going to say who are the best teams right now, I think you'd say Iowa State, TCU, Baylor, BYU, and Scotty, who do we add to that? There's got to be somebody else in there that we would go, pretty good, because, obviously Oklahoma State off to a horrible start, shaky. A lot of them want to fire their coach. Kansas State, incredibly shaky. They could be 0-3 right now. Kansas is kind of like, meh. You got beat by Mizzou in that last game out. So I think I've named the teams that are pretty good. I don't think we really know yet about Arizona. Cincinnati got an interesting quarterback in there. I'll keep taking a look. Pete put his eye on UCF. Any coaches that talk to Pete, like during one of those day before, Pete automatically falls in love with him. So if I have to guess, and I haven't talked to Pete about this, Pete has found some things he likes about UCF. But I would just say right now, this Baylor thing is kind of remarkable in the sense of the opportunity they have before them. We didn't see the 2021 thing happening. The only thing we saw happening with Baylor, and we thought the next year, well, Shapen's going to be quarterback. They're bringing a lot of people back. They're going to be really good, and they worked. And they had a big slide at the end of the season, and they finished in a horrible bowl game, and they lost. They had the record of 6-7. Now, at 2:00 today, we're going to have a discussion about what Cam Stewart's going to come on. He and Scotty have a little something going back and forth. Scotty's going to get his say. He's going to get his response. But Scotty will leave that. We'll leave that for 2 o'clock. What I see right now is the Bears get ready for Samford. And as they've played 2 quality opponents already, I see an enormous opportunity for Baylor. First of all, the pace that they're on, by almost any measure, and Scotty's looked a lot of this up, and we'll be laying some of this out, but by almost any measure, they are one of the best offenses in the country. I think they probably have right now, depending on which metric you look at least the second best passing offense in the country, and they have a quarterback way up there right now for what he's doing. Anything, if you want to knock Sawyer, I would say his accuracy's been a little bit off, but he's throwing for a ton of touchdowns. He's not throwing interceptions, and he's putting up monster yardage. And he's thrown for somewhere around 850 passing yards against 2 solid opponents. Let's not act like, we kept hearing Auburn's got good corners. Look at their corners. They got sticky corners. Yeah, you're worried about their safeties, but they got sticky corners. In that SMU, we did know SMU's secondary was going to be a little shaky. We had insiders telling us that. It did play out that way. But Sawyer is putting up these monster numbers without the aid of, or really the running game has not been great yet, and without the aid of a very good defense. Auburn annihilated Baylor in the run with their run game, and then SMU just kind of annihilated them in general with shot plays. One of them was lucky. One of them was just incredibly, getting beat. This team doesn't seem to have safeties right now, seem to have decent corners, and you can't find a safety back there. It's like, can anybody get depth on this defense? Scotty, it leads me to this very sort of weird spot where Baylor has this juggernaut of an offense, and I think you and I can compare this offense right now favorably. Now, some of the offenses you and I will bring up, it's pretty incredible, the Rhule's offense, what he put together, 13, 14, 15, as you stated, was going off the charts. But when we talk about 12, 13, 14, 15, we're talking about Heisman, then we're talking about incredible quarterbacks, we're talking about Biletnikoff, and then that stable of backs Art had in 2015. Oh, my gosh. Now that when we watched it play out, we realized they might have had the greatest stable of running backs, one of the greatest stables in college football history, what they put together. Scotty, what Sawyer's doing right now and what the Baylor offense seems to be capable of is Rhule's era-like. And what Spavital is doing, put Kendall, put Philip Montgomery before him, put Art, get what's the old offensive line's names? Get Levy. Levy's now a head coach. Who was their favorite? Who was their famous O-line coach back then? Put them all together. Get them all in a room together, and then match them up with this group we're seeing at Baylor right now. I would say, Scotty, it's scary what the potential is. And if you want to get in a shootout with this Baylor team right now, beware. I would say the only place they fall short is Bryson can stand up against anybody. All right. Shocklin Wood, Johnny Jefferson, the guy who got caught in Colorado. Why do I keep forgetting his name? Because he figured prominently into some later Baylor cases. What is his name? Devin? Anyway, the Baylor had an unbelievable stable, and they were so deep at running back. Right now, they only go about 2 deep at running back. So that's not as favorable to those old Rhule's teams. But, Scotty, what I'm getting at is we've got a huge opportunity in front of the Bears. And there's only one thing holding them back. Only one thing holding them back. And it's not the run game. And it's not any of these offensive coaches. And it's not any wide receiver. And it's not any O-lineman. It's not any tight end injury. It's Dave Aranda's defense. Whew. That's the only thing that right now could undermine a remarkable Baylor season. And we got to let this thing play out. And maybe this defense is going to get better. It can't get much worse. But, Scotty, I know you have some things in front of you that display, and even some numbers, where this Baylor defense is in, what shape they're in right now. But I think you would agree, from an offensive standpoint, this thing is this is a massive opportunity before the Bears. And what preserved it and what I love is that SMU win. Think about how different we would feel right now if they hadn't to come back. And you know what happens is you go to the next game and you start thinking about the next game. You think about Arizona State. You think about the game time and you move on. And SMU's in the rearview mirror. I get that. But it's kind of like, almost to me, it's almost like that Kansas game the year Robert won the Heisman. That you don't win the Heisman without the comeback against Kansas on the road in Lawrence with a Turner Gill Kansas team. You don't win the Heisman without it. And that SMU comeback preserved a lot of opportunities for these Baylor Bears.
Certainly. And just to your point, I want to start with, you asked about the defense specifically. Yeah. Baylor's team defense currently ranks, mind you, there are 136 FBS level NCAA football teams. Out of those 136, Baylor's team defense currently ranks 117th in yards allowed per game and 131st in points allowed per game. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Wow.
131 out of 136, last I checked. Not the bracket you want to fall into if you're trying to be excellent.
And that's with with a strong third quarter against SMU, where they kind of close things down.
Well,
think about that. Again, 131st.
Right. Well, and keep in mind,
it's only 2 games. We get that, but these are solid opponents.
If you're relatively unfamiliar with what FBS means, this includes all Group of 5 schools. We're not talking power conferences here. We're talking 136 power conference plus the Group of 5. Baylor, including Group of 5 schools, is 131 out of 136 in scoring defense. I suspect that won't stand, especially not after this weekend. But that's horrid. I mean, that's inexcusable to me. We'll see how they climb out of that. Now, you also asked me, Matt, before the show today.
By the way, are you kind of hoping for a rule like even if the Bears are up about 30-0 at halftime, would you? Oh wait, no, save that. We're going to do 2:00. We're going to get into that because
they don't respect you.
Some of this is spilling out onto social media.
I want them to be afraid of you. They don't need to schedule us in Nebraska.
There's almost a little bit like Costanza's dad. There's almost a little Jerry Stiller to Matt Rhule. And when he gets into that, wow, boy, some F-bombs were let out there. Son of missionaries. I'm sure that happened even when he was on the banks of the Brazos. They were baptizing players left and right. Hey, some good baptisms. I don't have the numbers for you, stats, but Scotty, I know out there where you go to church, you all like to do a good baptism occasionally, may even go out to the river or the lake or wherever y'all do those things, or maybe there's a hot tub type deal. Some of these Baptist churches will just kind of get a hot tub out, and which is an odd thing to see, but it's good to see. But Michael Allen seems to be leading the Bible studies for the Bears. And Jerry Hill and I will not reveal what we heard the Bears saying as they walked off because I do not want to be one of these that leaks like things that are happening under the tunnel. I'm just saying I'm glad I don't think there are a lot of baptisms happening right after the SMU game. I think they needed a cool down period, and then the baptism started again. Oh, aren't you glad, Scotty, we can laugh after yesterday? I got to say, I got off the show yesterday, and thank goodness I was not monitoring social media like while we were doing the show. But it was, yeah. And I don't know, I want to derail us, and we're a sports show, and we are gonna stay with that. But I do want to say and I think I speak for Scotty when and I don't care. I don't get political here. I don't take either side, any of that. But my goodness, if we can't come together as a country and condemn that sickness and that sickening scene from yesterday at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, where Charlie Kirk, a guy, again, wherever you are politically, the one thing you got to say about that young guy is the passion was there, and he actually tried to give the other side an audience. He went around having debates and visiting with people, and he didn't exactly just try to surround himself with like an echo chamber, like a lot of people do on both sides. We all try to scramble to our side. Okay, what does our side say? What is our side? Oh, let's watch this station. Or if I'm at the gym and it gets turned to this news station, people will be like, why did somebody put it on that? Golly. It's just awful. It's just horrific what happened yesterday. And the only reason I bring it up is because I don't want anybody to think that, Scotty and I spent a lot of time yesterday off the air, just kind of like, what in the world? And it, I think like a lot of us, and it ruined it, and again, then there was another thing that happened. There was another mass shooting situation, a school shooting that takes place in Colorado. It's just like, I don't know. Let's not come on here to a sports podcast and act like we have solutions. But boy, this isn't it. This isn't it. Whatever we're doing right now, and whatever happened on that campus, that's not it. And anyway, so again, Scotty and I both, our faith is very important to us. We don't come on our podcast, talking about our faith a lot. And we don't try to shove it down everybody's throat or anything like that. But this Charlie Kirk was a believer, and he was very open with his faith and made that a big part of what his presentation was. And I can't help but think today about his kids and his wife, and just thinking about that family and just the horror that they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis moving forward. So anyway, just I don't know. Love's the only answer, but I don't blame you for getting angry. I don't blame you for feeling sad and anger and just all the things that well up inside of you. I just know that, and by the way, whoever has done this, and today as we do this live, there's still a manhunt going on. It's just horrific, and we can't condemn it enough. All right, we do have Cam Stuart coming up at around 2:00, and then we're going to get into a lot with him. But this Baylor thing is going to be something we continue to talk about, because they're going to go out and they're going to take down Samford. Hopefully Samford comes and at least, makes a good representation of themselves. But this needs to be a lopsided game, and then the Bears will prepare for Arizona State to come rolling into McLean Stadium, and that is exciting. We already have a kickoff time for that. Let's do some Campus Confidential. Let's see what's on Scotty's mind, and let's do that next.
Shades is your trusted partner in stage lighting, offering a wide range of high-quality, innovative products since 2015. With designs that cater to all needs, fast delivery, and affordable prices, we provide exceptional customer service to ensure your satisfaction. With warehouses across the globe and sales in over 100 countries, Sheds is quickly becoming one of the most recognized names in the stage lighting industry. Visit shehds.com today to discover top-tier stage lighting solutions and become part of our global network.
Introducing Muck-Off's classic pink bike cleaner, powered by revolutionary nanotechnology that breaks down dirt and grime on a microscopic level while protecting your bike's delicate finish. Developed by our mad developer Alex and tested by riders, our products are made by riders for riders. Discover more at us.muc-off.com, where we break the mold to bring you the best in bike care.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels, our rebounders improve accuracy, control, and technique in both sports. Built with premium materials for durability and ease of use, they're ideal for training anywhere, anytime. Whether you're perfecting your soccer game or sharpening your lacrosse skills, Open Goal USA has you covered. Visit OpenGoalUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Chapellex is a full category shapewear brand dedicated to providing women with exceptional comfort and support. We offer thoughtfully designed solutions that blend style with functionality, empowering women to feel confident and at ease every day. Chapellex is redefining what it means to have a perfect body. Our mission celebrates body positivity, embracing every shape and size, because true beauty lies in authenticity. Visit shapellx.com today and join a movement towards self-love, acceptance, and confidence.
Indulge in Blum's luxurious Lotus flower rolls. The green Lotus roll bursts with a caramel apple flavor, while the blue Lotus roll offers a smooth berry cream sensation. With our Crush for Flavor technology, enjoy an instant burst of natural, intense flavor anytime you desire. Elevate your experience with the finest creations nature has to offer. Explore the full collection at blumleaf.com. That's BLUUMLEAF.com. Blumleaf. Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Join us at golfpartnerusa.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's GOLFPARTNERUSA.com. Golf Partner. At Terrapin Ridge Farms, they believe in the joy of effortless entertaining. Inspired by CEO Mary O'Donnell's mom and her legendary holiday parties, they've crafted a line of gourmet foods that turn any meal into a celebration. From savory jams to mustards, aiolis, and more, their products are made with love, bringing unforgettable flavors to your table. Whether it's a casual get-together or a special occasion, they make it easy to impress. Terrapin Ridge Farms, where great food and great memories come together. Visit them at terrapinridge.com. Terrapin Ridge.
Football's back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. And playing on Underdog, it's easy. Actually, too easy. I do it all the time, okay? All you got to do, find your favorite players, and you pick if they're going to go higher or lower on specific stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, whatever you want. And you can play for as little as $1. Let me show you what I'm looking at on my picks for this NFL weekend. First of all, CeeDee Lamb. Bounce back week for him after 3 drops against the Philadelphia Eagles. He will have more than half a receiving plus rushing touchdown. And then listen, Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts both will also score, but with their legs on the ground. I've got each of them with over half a rushing or receiving touchdown as well. Those are my picks, and I did the flex option. So if 2 of those 3 happen, I don't lose money. And if all 3 happen, I make money. That's the kind of picks you can make on Underdog. So here's what I want you to do. Download the Underdog app right now and sign up with the promo code Mosley. And if you put in $5 with that promo code Mosley, they will give you $50 in bonus funds to play with to your heart's content. Underdog is the best way to engage with football this season. Millions have already won billions of dollars playing on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play-and-get-terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369.
It is the Matt Mosley Show on the Rogue Media Network. And thank you, CNB. Thank you for what you do. Ascension Providence, you see them there. Craig Cherry and my man Scott James, Sigmund Johnson, that law firm. Just an incredible job. Some of the judgments from a I mean, personal injury lawyers. Wow. It's kind of remarkable, some of the things they've accomplished. And welcome back, Schmaltz. Schmaltz just needed to, had to kind of extricate themselves, get away from the old radio, Mosley, which I loved. I loved my time over there. No issue. But I wanted the greatest sandwich shop in the world to follow me over to Rogue. And that's happened. And Britt Tolley, the new owner over there, doing a great job. Nelson Rue, my old buddy, someone that knows Nelson and is following me on streaming, get a hold of Nelson, show him how to do it. It'll be fine. The water's fine. Come on in, wade on in. And then it hit. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Brazos Landing. Remember the Brazos Landing? Get over there and enjoy it. But some incredible sponsors here on the Mosley Show, and we love it. And it almost looks like a thought bubble up there, like right over there, right there. Okay, almost like Mosley. If I've just said something, you could put it in the Central National Bank graphic. All right, Scotty, if you figure that out, now you're already really good, but if you figure out like how to put my comments into that little thought bubble, I really think we'd have something. Okay, I don't think anybody's ever done that on the internet. It is time for something we call Campus Confidential, and a reminder that Cam Stewart's going to hop in with us at 2 for a little bit. It'll be like a presidential debate. I will limit our candidates. I'll limit our participants to like 2 minutes apiece, because Cam, more than Scotty, Cam can get carried away, and he just does not know how to cut himself off. So I will be stepping in, and we'll be only allowing people a certain amount of time. All right, especially since I'm so economical with my words, and I always hit the post, and really I find myself almost just very judicial with my wording. Okay, let's turn it over to Scotty Swingler. It is time for Campus Confidential, some of the great headlines across college football and college athletics. Scotty, what's on your mind today?
Matt, a few things going on, some big picture college football things here. First of all, the United States Congress is working on passing the SCORE Act, which will formalize and put into law the House decision to allow schools to rev share to essentially up to $20 million with its athletes every year. And interestingly, a senator, and I'll admit I'm not super politically involved, but a Washington Democratic Senator, Maria Cantwell, is sounding the alarm. She says that formalizing this into law will create a distorted system that ultimately will create a Big Two system where the SEC and Big Ten end up with all the power, even more of a disparity between those two conferences and the others, and that the other schools will face a really uphill battle. This article from Yahoo Sports that discusses this also brings up Cody Campbell, of course, the big donor at Texas Tech, who's helped their athletic department get so much money, who is also urging for an amendment to this act to try to bring more balance potentially here. So
good for him, because he actually cares about, I mean, at least on the surface, I don't know what he really cares about, but Olympic sports, women's sports. Cody's actually, and of course he's, while doing this, he's funding, he played football at Tech, and they got about a $25 million portal class that they brought in that he probably was underwriting, but I think he would like some of that to go away because he's sick of spending. So Cody may be a good guy to have at the deal. I would just like to say to Senator Cantwell, is that right? Cantwell? What is her name?
Yep. Maria Cantwell.
Senator Cantwell, I mean, we needed you about 20 years ago. If you're worried about the Big Two, like, welcome to college football. Oh, wait a second. I'm worried about a place where the Big Ten of the SEC have an inordinate amount of power. That happened a long time ago, Senator. Goodness gracious. I mean, you can always tell when somebody from the Senate, somebody from Congress gets involved that has not really monitored things over. And this is not like, oh, Senator, I mean, maybe she's a huge fan, I don't know, of college football. But it's the whole, tell me you don't understand how this works without telling me you don't understand how this works. I mean, my gosh. Oh, welcome to the game here. The SEC and the Big Ten, we're forming a Big Two. It already happened. The Big Two formed a long time ago. And first of all, when the Pac-12 blew up because of Kliavkoff and his idiotic, thank goodness, Brett Yormark kind of saved the Big 12. But the Big Ten and the SEC have been trying to kill everybody else for years. What do you think they tried to do to the Big 12 when they took Texas and Oklahoma? You think they wanted the Big 12 to be better? They didn't care. They didn't give a rat's A. And when the Big 12 called the Pac-12 and said, could you help us? The Pac-12 laughed at them, absolutely laughed at them and cackled. And the Pac-12 doesn't even exist anymore. It exists only in some kind of weird alternate universe where it's not really a part of a power conference anymore. And they have people like Texas State in their conference or somebody. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where Texas State's going, but aren't they? I think they're going to end up in the Pac-12 or something. I mean, it's the Pac-12. I like some of these teams, but I'm sorry. It's a joke. And who caused all that and who did all that? Well, first of all, you had a bad commissioner and you had the SEC and the Big Ten. So cat's out of the bag, Senator Cantwell. It's too late. It's already happened. You can't put that one back in. All right. Here's what we have to do at this point. We have to just sit back and enjoy the ride and do, for the most part, what Sankey tells us to do. Because if we don't, who do you want to listen to? The Big Ten? The Big Ten's out there trying to screw everybody over. The Big Ten is like, I'll tell you what, we got this 12-team playoff. We would like, we'd like about 7 spots for us, if you don't mind. And we give they do not, at least the SEC pretends they care about the other people. The Big Ten just comes out and just says, we would like to just, do away with all of you. All right. Just know there's nothing that can be done with the Big Two. The only chance we have in life are billionaires like Campbell or powerful people like Sankey, because Sankey actually runs college football. And the sooner we at least admit that, the better off we would be. Because I honestly think he's a more honorable person than the Petiti guy and all the Big Ten people who are coming up with their asinine theories like Ryan Day. And I mean, it's like the Big Ten just hands out the worst talking points ever. It's like, okay, guys, we got this new portal window. Okay, here's why we hate it. Oh, because one school, it bothers Ohio State. The rest of the world has to stop down what they're doing. It's a joke. All right, this is supposed to be a quick-hitting segment, and I usually undermine that. Let's continue. Scotty, what else do we have?
Well, the story came out, and we talked about it here yesterday about the 3 Fresno State basketball players who were caught and forever eliminated from competition for gambling on prop bets. Now it came out about 2 hours ago. I saw it on the New York Times, The Athletic. I've seen other outlets report this. That there are now 13 players across 6 schools, including Big 12's Arizona State, who are being investigated for similar violations. We talked yesterday about how this could just be a wave, a tumult, Matt, of lots of athletes who've been involved with this sort of rigging, prop betting, scandal. 13 more appear to be on the way. Are we just starting to get into something bigger here?
Yeah, and boy, some of the old standbys are getting mentioned. I saw Arizona State. I just saw the name show up, and I thought, dang it. That's Big 12. They've got a history of being involved in stuff like this. It's wild. It's wild. And yeah, you're scratching the surface and you're seeing what's funny is we have this really weird thought process sometimes where we think, wait, these kids can be paid NIL money now. Won't that be enough? No, the more money they make, and I think they deserve it. I'm totally fine with it. The more money, the more disposable income these guys have, what do you think they're going to do with it? Like go invest it all? You think they're all going to just go find great financial planners? No, they're looking for things to do with it. And so they get together and go, what if I don't try in this next game and I tell a few people about it and I make them some money and I make myself some money, and they ruin their careers. They ruin their lives. But they're 18, 19-year-old kids, and you don't make good decisions. It's like the idiot that has some ties to Baylor who said something stupid on Instagram yesterday. Should he lose his whole career or future over it? Probably not. But and should Baylor have felt the need to even respond? Probably not. But I'm just saying people do idiotic things the only difference is they were doing that, Scotty, when we were in school and before and all of that. And when I was in school, we didn't have phones, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have blah, blah, blah. We barely had email. We got email like my senior year or something. I mean, all this stuff was new to us. But now there are way more ways to get in trouble. And one of those, see, I don't want to get too far off, but one of those is the gambling thing, because it's become so prevalent and so easy to do all these things. It's not shocking. And that's why Baylor, by the way, and Scott Drew and that program and David Kay and whoever's in charge of all that stuff, they need to be having a meeting today with those players. Like, hey, guys, if you ever think it might be kind of fun to get on whatever and like literally, not only could you possibly end up in jail, but you could ruin your whole career and ruin everything for yourself by trying to make like literally $200 or $300. It's that stupid. Okay, Scotty. By the way, I don't think you have to, as a school, respond to every idiotic thing out there. I don't know. I need to look. I need to think about that one more, because I saw that last night and I'm like, what was said? What was said? When you respond to something as a university, what you do then is point everything to the idiot. So I don't know how I think about that. Okay, Cam Stuart. I started to say speaking of, but I'm not going to say that. Cam Stuart joins us next, and got a lot to get into. But this is going to be an interesting back and forth. Scotty, I'm going to be the referee. Scotty and Cam have a disagreement. We're going to kind of wade through it. That's next.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we didn't know exactly what that partnership would look like.
What brings you into the bank today?
For the last couple of months, I've been noticing a charge on my account, and I would like to block it.
I see. So you have a charge.
Yes.
And you'd like to block it?
Yes.
I think you should take the charge.
What?
Yeah, I definitely think you should take the charge.
I don't think you understand.
Sometimes you just have to take one for the team.
Is there a manager available?
We love that Coach Collin is all about the team. Once we get the vocabulary down, the sky's the limit.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor women's basketball.
I have Mac Rhodes, director of Baylor Athletics, on the phone. Mac, can you tell Peggy why she should take the charge?
Of course she should take the charge. Wait, are you at the bank again? And who?
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Unlock a world of convenience with Mosley Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. Unlock your full potential with On It, your go-to for premium supplements, fitness gear, and wellness essentials. Whether you're training hard, recovering faster, or just looking to feel your best, On It has the tools you need to perform at your peak. Visit ONNIT, that's ONNIT.com, and elevate your mind, body, and spirit today. At Rolls Rolo, we don't just sell wallpaper, we create cohesive, cozy spaces. Our deep understanding of design means every pattern, color, and texture is carefully chosen to complement your home. Plus, we use advanced technology and water-based inks for vibrant, eco-friendly prints, ensuring a healthier environment. Visit rollsrolla.com to transform your space today. That's ROLLSROLLA.com today.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
At Tusane's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusanes.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
Calling all Marvel fans, get Marvel Unlimited and unlock over 30,000 comics featuring your favorite heroes and iconic stories, all available to read anytime, anywhere. Whether you're into classic tales or the latest adventures, there's something for everyone. Don't miss out. Head to marvel.com/unlimited today and start your Marvel journey now. At Angel Bliss, we believe every parent's journey is a beautiful adventure. Our mission is to make it joyful and stress-free with thoughtful, safe, and innovative products. Born from a love for family, we promise peace of mind for parents and comfort for babies. From playtime to bedtime, every Angel Bliss product is designed with care, reliability, and a style to nurture the special bond between parent and child. Angel Bliss, creating happy memories, one baby at a time. Visit us at angelbliss.us. Angel Bliss.
I'm seeing some Baylor fans once again having Matt Rhule on their lips. And this actually comes from my good friend, Scotty Swingler, the one that I'm talking about in particular. And I'm going to be on, please bear with me, with him later this week. So I figure that's going to be a good chance to talk about it. But this leaked video came out of Matt Rhule addressing his Nebraska team at halftime when they were up 33-0. And he rips into him. I'm going to play some from it in a second here, but wanted to go through what Scotty had to say because I've seen this echoed from a lot of Baylor fans before. This is not just a Scotty thing. He says, Matt Rhule is Baylor's flaming hot ex, will never quite get over no matter how attractive the current girlfriend is. That was his takeaway, and I'm sure more Baylor fans take away from this leaked video, part of the leaked video of Matt Rhule laying into his players in the locker room when they were up by almost 5 touchdowns. Yeah, let's go, baby, yeah. That's, I'm sure, how a lot of you watch this, right? And who wouldn't want that as their head coach? I'm not seeing it, man. And I know Nebraska's all rah-rah about Matt Rhule, right? They love him. And this is supposed to be the year they win 10 games. I'd hold my breath if I were you about winning 10 games at Nebraska. They're the same coach. Results-wise, they're the same coach.
Well, I mean, you never know when the Cam Stuart show might just break out. And Scotty, I mean, to get to hear you get name checked like that on a very popular show, I think that's something.
Probably the best locked on Big 12 show. I'll just say it. I think Cam's my favorite.
Many are saying that.
Jay Catch at BYU is pretty great. We all love our friend Drake.
Scotty,
Toll.
you'll certainly get your turn, but yes, you just offended Drake Toll and several others in the Locked On family. But Well, good. I mean, just to be in the middle of you two, I've had to wade in there, and I'm gonna have to kind of moderate this thing. Cam, welcome to the show. And I wish you could have heard. We had a robust discussion earlier about the opportunities before this for this Baylor team, and like even maybe some comparisons to those Bryles teams and some of the weapons. And man, this is the ultimate why not us type year. Because I don't know, I look around the Big 12 and I don't see it. But today, right now, Cam, we want to start out with like, what led you to wade into this Matt Rhule situation? His halftime speech was, to me, for a team that was up 33-0 at halftime, it's one of the great halftime speeches I've seen. There were some F-bombs dropped. Mm-hmm. He was very excited, and I have to side. I want Cam. I want you to go first, and then we'll let Scotty come. But in your mind, you were kind of insinuating you weren't singling Scotty out, yet you kind of did.
Wasn't. Yeah.
You certainly like, hey, we're not trying to single him out, but here is his name, and I'm going to also quote him.
Yeah.
I'm also going to quote exactly what Scotty was saying about Matt Rhule. So I think you use that as a jumping off point to say, hey, the good old days maybe weren't as good old days as you remember him, although he did go out, you have to say, in a blaze of glory, right?
Sure.
In 2019, he goes off and good things were happening, lots of excitement. And so there is a certain, but Cam, why did you have to, of all of the people you could have brought up, why was Scotty the face of that whole situation?
Well, I mean, mainly because Scotty had a good tweet. Like that was a good tweet. That's a good way to put it.
We're gonna praise Scotty now. All right.
Well, that's why. The reason why was I couldn't get 3 segments out of someone's previewing Samford football, but and I needed something else. But this is something that comes up, Matt. I know you've seen it. I've seen, and as I said in there, like Scotty was a means to an end on this tweet. I have seen this from a bunch of people over the last few years, Baylor fans, specifically when things are going bad. Scotty's got the bravery to do it on a good week. But I hear this a lot, and I used to think like that. Like when Dave Aranda was not having a good year in 22 and 23, I would think, like, what is it going to be like, or what would it have been like if we had just kept Matt Rhule throughout all of this? And obviously there's a difference if there's continuity at a place, which Matt doesn't really like to have. But when you look at their resumes side by side, they're very similar. And when you have 2 very similar resumes like that, and you're going towards the things that separate you, the conference championship, the BCS Bowl or New Year's Six Bowl, and the ranked victories, those all are checked boxes for Dave Aranda and not Matt Rhule. So this is something I see from a lot of Baylor fans, because a lot of Baylor fans don't like the persona of Dave Aranda. They don't like, the mild-manneredness. They like the Matt Rhule, the Bear Bryant, like the fire you up in the locker room, 33-0 isn't good enough kind of thing, which I get. But if we're talking about a ball coach, they're pretty much the same.
Well, and the only thing, and I'm going to turn it over to Scotty here in a second. The only thing I would say that I didn't hear in your Locked On, you didn't bring up and I know maybe you just thought it goes without saying, but Dave certainly had, and again, he's the one who was put the defense together, but largely he did that with Rhule's players. Sure. When he had that huge, one of the great seasons in Baylor history. And of course, Matt gets credit for taking a horrible situation and a huge scandal and restoring sort of hope and dignity and all the things that Baylor fans had kind of like, wait, are we even allowed to cheer for our program? So Matt gets a lot of points for things even outside of the football field. But Scotty, seeing that, and when you wake up and you have to experience, a good friend sort of calling you out in front of so many people, and Locked On, I'm not trying to be sarcastic. Locked On has a large audience. and it has a rabid and it has an audience that people that sometimes are like, we love Cam and whatever Cam says is right. Scotty, that can be tough. That can be tough to wake up to friends who you feel like have perhaps undercut you a little bit. First of all, Scotty, are you hanging in there, having had to react to, basically after yesterday there's some other stuff going on we won't even mention, but then to have Cam come after you, are you doing okay with this?
I think we might have lost Scotty here. I think we might have lost him. I mean,
that's bad. That's bad. That's rough when the whole reason we're doing this is to let Scotty react to you, and he disappears. The good news is
difficulties in the studio. Can I real quick?
Hey, by the way, you and I both have great Wi-Fi and can continue on. I think our live stream is still working, but something has happened in the studio that has knocked Scotty Swingler off.
We're getting word from Houston. Yeah, here we go.
Listen, he has returned.
I think.
Is that better? There's my audio, I think.
Sounds
you're fine. You're fine. Yeah. You sound good.
The Dave Aranda lovers invaded Rogue Media Studios and cut me off internet connection for a second.
Big Dave Aranda shut Scotty down.
The Dave Aranda army got up here to the Alico building and unplugged the router. But you can't hold me down for long. Where were we, gentlemen?
No, I was setting it up for you, Scotty, to just take us through the emotions when you wake up and you realize that a good pal and a colleague has called you out, and then just you were characterized. Did he take you out of context, like what happens a lot of times, or do you think it was somewhat fair the way Cam presented this argument?
Cam, well, those are two different questions, Matt. Did he appropriately portray my feelings in my tweet? I think so. Cam's a professional. He's a real journalist doing good work here. Yes, I said it. I meant it. I retweeted it today and said I meant it. It was a little jarring to wake up this morning, and as I'm getting out of the shower and trying to get a podcast going, to say, oh, my buddy Cam didn't invite me on his show to talk about this, but we'll do it on Rogue Media. It will be fine. He didn't even tweet at me about it. I'll get over it one day. Here's the question, though. You asked about the argument. I understand Cam's perspective. If we live in a vacuum and records are the only thing that matter in college football, I get it. Sure, Dave Aranda and Matt Rhule are the same guy. One, the emotion in my tweet came from the place that we've talked for 4 seasons and 2 top 25 games this year about how Baylor football under Matt Rhule can't come out of the tunnel against a good opponent and look like they want to play football. And
just real quick, you said Matt Rhule there. I think you're meaning Dave Aranda, although Matt Rhule never beat a ranked opponent as Baylor's coach. I think you meant Dave Aranda in there.
I do mean Dave Aranda. Thank you, Cam.
Gotcha.
Pete Souza says Cam is a troll. Don't hold back. I'm not holding back, Pete. I'm going to make you proud. Going to make you proud here. Listen, Dave Aranda teams cannot come out of the tunnel ready to play football against a good opponent ever. We always have to go down by 14 and then wake up and have a miraculous comeback in the fourth. This SMU game is not an anomaly, right? Mm-hmm. Like went down big early against LSU, couldn't complete the comeback. Went down big early against Auburn, couldn't pull off a comeback. It has happened against TCU. It's happened against Texas. It's happened under Dave Aranda. Matt Rhule had a 1-win team come out and really scare a number 1 Oklahoma team in Waco. Not the same as winning the game, but that team came out ready to play, determined to win from jump, and gave us a great Taylor Young photo to boot. I digress. Cam, here's the part that I think is invaluable and has to be part of the discussion if we're going to be intellectually honest. Dave Aranda does not come to Baylor without Matt Rhule.
Mm-hmm.
Baylor might be back to Kevin Steele 2 to 3 wins a season without Matt Rhule. We could do the old tired argument that Dave Aranda doesn't win the Big 12 championship in 2021 without every single contributing player being a Matt Rhule recruit. And ever since all Dave Aranda's recruits have been on campus, Baylor's best season was 8-5. we could also discuss those things. And by the way, if the guy doesn't have Baylor knocking on the door of a Big 12 championship, if not in the game this season, he is underachieved yet again with the talent he has on the field. So I think it's a little insincere to talk about ranked wins this and ranked wins that when Matt Rhule was a play away from beating Jalen Hurts and CeeDee Lamb with a third-string quarterback in a Big 12. Like, let's put some context onto this. You're a third quarterback. You're a play away from beating a Super Bowl champion quarterback and one of the 3 best receivers in football. Like, it's not like Matt Rhule was like getting outcoached, like bullied by these bigger teams.
Well, Cam, I want you to respond, but Scotty went for a while there.
I did.
I will say I like both of these guys. Selfishly, I generally like the coach that enjoys the media more and that isn't like reluctant to do one-on-ones like every Baylor coach has done since the beginning of the football program 100 years ago or more than 100 years ago, or when they were playing Adran College. So there are things personally that really bug me about Aranda, and that's, certainly one of them. But I think we do have to, if we're being honest, say that Rhule has not accomplished much since leaving Baylor. We'll always give him credit for that rebuild.
He's not
at all. But I'm just saying, I'm just saying, part of what should make a great coach is, okay, you move on. He desperately wanted to coach in the NFL. All right, that was a failure for whatever reason. That was a miserable failure. He's gotten to Nebraska now, and he hasn't done anything there. What he's better at, and I understand that you like it, and a lot of Baylor fans like it, he's better at off seasons, and he's better at half times. He's so much better than Aranda. Nobody will ever argue against that. But he hasn't done anything. He's left Baylor in 2019, and he stumbled around in the dark, and he's made a ton of money, and he hasn't accomplished anything in 6 years.
It's a good point.
So I'm just saying, yeah.
When 3 of those 6 years were spent realizing that your style doesn't work in the NFL, I don't hold that against his college football ability. 1 and 2, and I'll be brief because I know I've been yapping, and I want Cam to talk back to me. But 2, I told Pete this because Cam said this in his Locked On segment. There's this used carsman thing about Matt Rhule that is absolutely true, especially at a microphone at a press conference. But Cam, where that is not true, I believe the man is when he's coaching football. This is a walk-on linebacker at Penn State that was running Oklahoma drills pregame at Baylor in 2017. I think that is real. I think Matt Rhule really loves the physicality, hitting people, pissing people off, getting up in people's face. I think that is who he is. I don't think that's an act.
I think he really loves that the cameras are running too.
And I do miss that. No, I think he does that all the time, and I miss it. I miss that.
The Oklahoma drills embarrassed me. I have to just say at the time. Yeah, I was embarrassed. I remain embarrassed by that. Any coach that would ever do that before a game.
It works.
All right, no, I'm just saying I do. Go ahead, Cam. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So here's what I do want to say about kind of the part of the context here, right? So I fully agree, and actually, Scotty sounded a lot like me for a little bit there about Baylor does not
with a Boston accent or something.
Well, we wouldn't want that, or else he can't ask questions to the coach. But Baylor does not go 12-2 and win the Big 12 and win the Sugar Bowl without Matt Rhule having done that, right? And there's absolute legitimacy to him giving legitimacy back to the job. This could have very easily gone right back down where the sun don't shine for Baylor football. It could have been like that. And Matt Rhule comes in, he builds up enough, he's competitive enough that it doesn't have to be like that. Now, the argument I don't like, though, because, it was all Matt Rhule's guys as a part of that 21 championship team. And, those guys, when playing for Matt Rhule, did not get the job done in a very similar circumstance. They made the Sugar Bowl. They made the Big 12 championship game. With Dave Aranda, they did get the job done. And with Matt Rhule's players that couldn't beat a ranked team, his teams beat 4 ranked teams that year, which has to be a Baylor record. Like that can't be understated. And the other thing I think I need to get out there, as Matt definitely knows from our time on the Matt Mosley show, is I'm not part of the Aranda Army. Let's be real. I'm not. I'm week to week with Dave Aranda. I was calling for his job 2 years ago. I don't back off it based on what the context was. But that's kind of where I'm at, is like, Nebraska is going to be hyping up Matt Rhule because he's a program builder and everything. But it's like, would Nebraska trade him for Dave Aranda? I don't think so. And when you look at the body of work there, that's where it is the same. And in the ultimate results-driven business, that's where it is the same. And that's what you pay the big money for. They're both a game over 500.
That conference has so many, I'm not saying he's a fraud, but I kind of think James Franklin's a fraud. And I kind of think Bielema's a bit of a fraud, although they're winning. I mean, you got to say Penn State and Illinois right now look pretty good.
Just gets thrown in the top 10.
It just made me think of all those Big Ten coaches right now. The only ones that are legit are Ryan Day and Dan Lanning. I think Lincoln's kind of fraudulent, but I'm sorry. Go ahead, Scotty. You were going to go somewhere.
Here's the trade-off with Matt Rhule that we need to acknowledge, where Cam is absolutely right. Is that you don't, if a school were to hire Matt Rhule next week, you're going to have him for 3 or 4 years. That sucks. Like, I appreciate that Dave Aranda seems to want to be at Baylor. Granted, it's not like he's got a bunch of teams knocking on his door, to go have a bigger job at this point either. I do appreciate that Matt Rhule, you don't know that he's in it for the long haul. However,
he's like a consultant for local governments.
That's good.
Out of the red,
that's good.
And they leave. It's like Parks and Rec. Like, that's what.
No,
he does.
I like that. I like that, Cam. But here's what's also true. Every stop, and Nebraska could be the exception, and we'll find out in like 2 years. We'll know. Every stop, he has accelerated and elevated the football to this unbelievable level. Like if you had told me after 2016, the Jim Grobe year, when Baylor started really hot but ended 0-6, and the team quit, like, hey, in 3 years you'll be in a Big 12 championship game, I would have told you were smoking crack. I would have told you that was the craziest thing ever. So would it shock me if, maybe not this year, because the Big Ten is tough. Like, that is a much taller task than he's faced before. But in the next 2-3 years, if Nebraska's in the top 3 or 4 in the Big Ten fighting for a championship spot, that wouldn't shock me at all, because that's what he does. Dave Aranda, we just don't know, dude. This is his first head coaching job, and he gained a lot of trust and a lot of grace from winning a championship in year 2. That was tremendous. But since then, I'm not happy. Like, I am not satisfied if we're talking like Baylor's going to float around 7 wins every year. I'm not. And that's where I don't think I don't know that it's sincere again to say, well, Nebraska fans wouldn't trade Matt Rhule for Dave Aranda. Well, of course they wouldn't. What has Dave Aranda proved? Matt Rhule's proven everywhere he's been, other than the NFL, that we will elevate season over season. And by year 3, you're going to have a product on the field that's competitive.
Well, Dave Aranda, and we talked about this earlier, he has to take advantage of this incredible good fortune. And that is Baylor helping him hire, for, I think, a good amount of money, Jake Spavital. Let's not act like that hadn't been an incredible hire. Mm-hmm. And then, just like who showed up in a manger all those years ago. Okay, that's a little much. But Sawyer's arrival, and in fact, they gave the job to somebody who they paid a lot of money to. Understandable. They paid DeQuan Finn like $750. Huh?
Patriots did that once.
Okay.
They made the starter the guy who was making a lot of money. Coach liked the other guy better.
Exactly.
I think I've heard that.
And Sawyer.
The other guy was an all-pro, but yeah.
Sawyer has saved him. I mean, Sawyer and Spavital have saved Dave Aranda's career. Now, as we were talking about earlier, Scotty, right off the top, like it's like, can Dave capitalize on some of the greatest fortune to ever occur? Because if we're going to defend the great Rhule, we would say he did it he turned around one season with Brewer And then he does it with Gary. And then we decide, oh, Gary, do I have this right? Gary was 2021. Who was Rhule?
You
Rhule did it with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rhule
Zach
pretty
Smith
much.
and
Rhule,
New Solomon.
Charlie Brewer is the defining quarterback. He was the named starter halfway through year one and then all through Rhule's tenure. The difference is, again, in that Big 12 championship game, Bohannon had to play and then Zeno had to play. You went down to your third quarterback. And then same thing in the Sugar Bowl. Same thing in the Sugar Bowl against Georgia. None of the guys could really go, and it was Zeno that quarterbacked most of that game.
Yeah. Some of the things he did, especially given that Petrie could go down. Singletary and RG3 are the two greatest Baylor players ever. But the guy that people really honestly should maybe be the most beloved ever should be Jalen Petrie. And so he stays, and then we got to give Aranda credit for then getting he and Bernard and Bernard was already playing great under Rhule, right? But he got those guys to an unbelievable level. And I think that's what we're waiting for even this year. I know there are a bunch of moving parts. What I don't want to give Aranda the excuse on right now, and Cam, we need to let you go because I know you got another big thing coming up, but there's a lot. I don't want to hear all this talk about and reporters are trying, it's not Dave making excuses, but reporters are trying to help him with this whole, you got these new players, don't you? You got these transfers. Oh, we don't, that's not going on the rest of the country. That's not happening in the rest of the country, that they're bringing in all these guys off the street that you're having to move in and play significant roles. So I don't want to hear.
They can't tackle, Matt, because they're not allowed to tackle much at practice. And I forgot the other 135 teams are allowed to tackle at practice in August.
It's bad. That part goes bad.
Cam, did you report on this, or did you? I said it when we started the show today. Baylor's 131st in scoring defense.
Yeah, it's actually part of tomorrow's show. The top 5 things we're looking for in this game this weekend. That's funny that you bring that up, Scotty, because for me to put down Dave Aranda a little bit and bring it back to Baylor fans here. I did an episode earlier this week on Locked On Baylor, which was giving a grade to Dave Aranda so far. And that was part of it. They have one of the worst defenses in the country right now. They faced 2 good teams, don't get me wrong, but one of them didn't even pass the ball. You didn't even force them to pass it. And so when I think I gave him a D, and someone commented, a lot of Baylor fans were upset that I would say such a thing. But one commented yeah, the defense is 131st out of 136. That's an F. That's a failure. It's almost as bad as you can get. If you're 5th from bottom in your high school class, you're probably got an F, and that's something we can't ignore so far. And that's why I'm still week to week on Dave Aranda. As good as this offense looks, this defense is horrid right now. Horrid. They're facing a team on Saturday that's put up 16 points this year, though.
Samford has.
Yes.
Although it used to be kind of a nice offensive juggernaut in FCS or whatever they play
Still running the air raid. 450 yards of offense last week, but 13 points.
I like that when he tried to say something nice about them, he was like, I remember Adult State, their coach, we played against him. It's well, he's not going to be out there playing. That's the only thing Dave could think of.
And he essentially said the same thing about Samford's coach as he did about Hugh Freeze. He was Rhett Lashley, and they didn't stop him. He was no, you trick up and do a bunch of trick plays, lot to prepare for. And I'm I'm looking at the right thing, right? They're 0-2 with 16 points scored. Am I right?
When we give up 20 Saturday to Samford, we just need to keep having the conversation.
8 red zone trips, 1 touchdown for the Samford Bulldogs. How about
Cam,
that?
I will just conclude with this, Cam.
Yeah.
There's a few things I know about a Matt Rhule coach team. I know they're going to come out of the tunnel ready to hit someone, and I know they're going to play good special teams. Dave Aranda teams don't. I need to see some improvement here, all around, not just because it's not just, we can talk about the defense has been horrid, and that is by far the story of this.
Scotty's about to lambast them on this special teams turnover against SMU.
Dog. No, it's the kick. It's the kick return. The kick return against Auburn, man.
Yes, kick return against Auburn, kick return against LSU.
Yeah, right. So it's bad. It's
and
unacceptable.
especially when Josh Cameron is not touching the ball a lot on special teams, then you become more of a net negative, which I don't like. Like that dude was the best punt returner in the conference last year, and he's not lining up for all the punts. I'm like, why are we not? This dude could have been an All-American last year, and that's gonna be a huge help to getting him on an NFL roster at this time.
Right.
And last thing, he was better at putting together staffs because while if either looked into or just give them credit, Mac or whoever made the hire of Spavital, no. Rhule was better at putting a staff together because Rhule had been around the block and been around. And so he had that awesome old offensive line coach I love that we sadly have lost now. And he had that awesome defensive coordinator, Phil Snow, who's an old kind of dude. And Dave is just constantly like, is there anybody around here? Anybody? Is there anybody like at Western Kentucky that maybe can do something?
Not only that, but not only that, 3 games. But Scott Drew gets a ton of credit because he's got like 5 assistant coaches that are now head coaches in college basketball. Look at Joey McGuire. Look at Fran Brown. Like Matt Rhule, it wasn't just bringing in buddies. He pulled Joey McGuire, out of Texas high school football. These guys are now good head coaches. I mean, so
Syracuse really likes the Baylor pipeline.
Yeah, Fran Brown's exactly like Matt because he instead of Oklahoma drills, he was making his guys run lines after the game the other day.
Like he's Herb Brooks or something.
I want that energy back in Waco.
That's dumb. That's so dumb.
It's not dumb.
That's so junior high. Guys, get up there and run some lines. I would have fired Fran Brown like on side right for that.
To Baylor.
Okay,
I want him at Baylor. Let's bring him.
We wanted him. Yeah, he left Baylor quickly after that first year. Okay, all my best, Cam. Have a great rest of the day. And
thank you guys.
Congrats. I don't think we've had you on since the huge news. I'm scared to even bring it up because it did happen, right?
It did. I think I was on the day before, right? 2 days before.
I did like a week before, and I kind of asked you something generic about it a little bit, and you're kind of like, no. And it was happening. I knew it was coming. And Grace is a great friend of mine, and I love her, and we love you. And so, there it is. There it is. We know this is going to be a beautiful marriage.
I think we can say
mainly because her father is loaded.
Dave Aranda thing. I think Baylor overall could do better, but I can't do better than Grace. So,
no, she's great. She is a Mosley show enthusiast. And I can't wait to meet her family. In fact, Scotty and I have already said even if we don't get the invite, we do plan on crashing that wedding. Hopefully, it'll be in the greater Charlotte area. I've got friends in North Carolina. Oh, a date has been set. Okay, all right. We'll put a graphic. We'll put a graphic up next segment on that. Thank you, Cam. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. Always a
all
fun
my
time.
best. You and Sailor Bear. Growler Bear is back. Cam still rocking Sailor Bear. There he goes. Cam Stuart and embrace debate. We got it was very civil, but also Scotty made some good points. Cam made some good points, and I don't know if I'm going to declare a champ. I think I would lean toward my daily colleague Scotty Swingler. I always would lean that direction. But good points made by both. It is time. We got a little more. I got this Rangers thing has got me excited. And then a few more of Baylor nuggets because we were going down a really good path earlier today. It's all next on the Matt Mosley Show.
Football's back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. And playing on Underdog, it's easy. Actually, too easy. I do it all the time, okay? All you got to do, find your favorite players, and you pick if they're going to go higher or lower on specific stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, whatever you want. And you can play for as little as $1. Let me show you what I'm looking at on my picks for this NFL weekend. First of all, CeeDee Lamb. Bounce back week for him after 3 drops against the Philadelphia Eagles. He will have more than half a receiving plus rushing touchdown. And then listen, Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts both will also score, but with their legs on the ground. I've got each of them with over half a rushing or receiving touchdown as well. Those are my picks, and I did the flex option. So if 2 of those 3 happen, I don't lose money. And if all 3 happen, I make money. That's the kind of picks you can make on Underdog. So here's what I want you to do. Download the Underdog app right now and sign up with the promo code Mosley. And if you put in $5 with that promo code Mosley, they will give you $50 in bonus funds to play with to your heart's content. Underdog is the best way to engage with football this season. Millions have already won billions of dollars playing on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play-and-get-terms_DFS_HTML for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369.
Are you ready to take control of your health? At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. Say goodbye to long waits and office visits. Check your health on your own terms with 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today and free yourself from traditional medicine. That's the number 4uhealth.com. Get ready for epic savings at Best Buy. Right now, you can save up to $700 on select Alienware and Dell gaming products. Perfect for leveling up your gaming experience. Plus, grab the latest Android Google Pixel at an unbeatable price. Don't miss these incredible deals. Shop now at bestbuy.com and upgrade your tech today. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
Have you ever watched true crime television and wondered, how did they get that story?
I can show you. I was a producer for 48 Hours on CBS News.
In my exclusive tell-all book, I'll take you where no audience has ever gone before. Don't miss out. Secure your copy of Killer Story, The Truth Behind True Crime Television today. Available everywhere books are sold.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitch seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
We haven't been looking for you. Wake up.
Hellhound Country, available anywhere you get your podcasts. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
It's the Mosley Show on Rogue Media Network. Thank you, C&B, Central National Bank, Central Providence. And, man, thank you, Cam Stuart, for being on with us. and a good back and forth there, and just kind of the whole Aranda Matt Rhule thing is interesting, and it's really kind of what you want in your football coach, or certain people that identify more and maybe miss when you see Rhule and you see some of these great speeches that he makes, and know that that's not really the way Aranda approaches things. But then certainly Aranda has had his moments. I would say right now he needs to get his defense going, and against the Sanford team that has barely scored this season, it couldn't be a better time to key in, have some success, get some swagger, hit the quarterback a little bit. This is no time to be like, well, we're not going to show anything. We're going to be vanilla. You better figure something out. You better, and I do think they'll probably they'll probably have to rest a few players that have been banged up. Like, I would have no issue with them sitting Michael Trigg for this game. Some of the key players that have been banged up, even their center, even Colton, I would have no problem on that. Some of these defensive guys need to get out there, get some reps, and need to figure this thing out. I would say that was a bad day against SMU the other day. Scotty Swingler for LeVar Thornton. I mean, he kept, in addition to just not being able to make a play on the ball when he had a great chance to, gives up kind of a fluky interception, then later just straight up gets beat like on a go route in the corner of the end zone. And then Carl Williams, hey, I don't care if you've been banged up. If you're out there, you got to show up and play. And he gets caught peeking in the backfield and gives up a jailbreak 75-yard shot play. Like, these 1-yard drives, it stinks, man. Now, it happened again in the overtime, but I'm talking about the 1-yard, 75-yard, the one-play 75-yard drive. It's just awful. It's debilitating. It's like, go out there and get in some kind of rhythm. And I'll point to one play that a guy made, since we've been so tough on the defense. That Fobbs White, I think he came in from Tulane, maybe the transfer. He made a play when they were down 10-0, and they came out flat. And I think that's one of the things Scotty's been complaining about with Dave Aranda teams, at least, it happens. It seems to happen with them. And then they have to, mount a comeback. It happened before they turned it around last season. It was like, why do you have to get down to BYU? Why do you have to get down to these teams before you rally and you start playing? Same thing against Texas. Same thing against Tech. I mean, they never rallied against Tech 2 years ago. I don't remember them really rallying against Texas when, again, that left such a sour taste. You got a chance to send them off with a certain kind of way, and you go out there and that was when it looked like the guy was going to get himself fired. Then the next year, looks like he's going to get himself fired again, and the team rallies. Now, it's probably unfair of me not to give Dave some credit for putting together a staff with Spavital and then hitting on Keenan Hall. But whether it be Jovan and Mac, hey, they got involved in trying to save Dave's job. Now, why did Dave's job get saved after that horrible 3-9 season? Two things. He convinced them that he could keep a really good recruiting class that they had put together. I think it was the 2021 class, or was it 2022? Anyway, 2021, whatever that class was that had Caden Jenkins and some others in it, he convinced them that he could keep that together. He also had the aid of a contract that was prohibitive. Baylor did not want to, at a time of chaos in college football, have to buy him out at somewhere around whatever it would have been, $15-20 million. It was not going to be pretty, because he was owed somewhere in the neighborhood of $6 to $7 million a year for another number of years, for several more years. And Baylor did not have to want to mess with it. It might have been like $25 million. It wasn't Jimbo, but it wasn't great. So that saved him. And then what saved his rear last year was a quarterback showing up and just balling out. Just decided to go out to Lubbock, and the team flipped it on a dime, and they got the thing going. And and we could do more of this as the days unfold, Scotty, but it did get you and I thinking about like this group of weapons that Baylor has with Spavital and Dave Aranda and what they have. Like last year, it was about a quarterback lifting everybody up, right? Now that didn't mean Cameron didn't play great. Ashton, they had some Monterey. They had some guys that stepped up and played great for them at the skill positions. And Bryson came on strong and had more than 1,000 yards. But that was a quarterback lifting a team up. This year, it's been about, he's been great, but he also has learned how to lean. I should have said Trigg last season, too. Trigg got him through a couple of games. That one at Houston, when the offense really wasn't playing that great, Trigg got him through that game. They now have, let's think about this, Scotty. Trigg, Ashton, Prentice, Cameron, Cole Wilson. That one guy's supposed to be good. We haven't even heard anything from him. Lewis something?
Lewis Brown.
Lewis Brown supposed to be really good.
Sawyer made one of his best throws of the day Saturday down the sideline. The one time I saw Lewis Brown in the game, and Lewis Brown dropped it. I don't know if you remember that play on the sideline.
I do.
Probably 30 yards down the field. That was one of Sawyer's best throws of the day Saturday, and Brown let it go right through his hands. That's not how you get time when you've got a deep receiving core.
So did we decide that what receivers were at Baylor in 2014, that great year where they could have ended up in the playoff? Okay, I want to see this, and I want to think of this in the context of all those names we just mentioned, because right now Cole Wilson looks like your biggest game breaker, but your toughest, meanest, most physical, violent receiver is obviously Josh Cameron. Goodness gracious, look at that.
Yeah, you asked me who I thought Baylor's best receiving core was ever, and I mentioned 2014 immediately. This was 2014. You've got three receivers who are almost equal here in production, certainly in terms of catches, between Corey, KD, and Goodley, all just insane threats there on the outside in 2014. Of course, Goodley was coming off, I believe, like an 1,100-yard season the year before, but Corey Coleman and KD, perhaps the two most just explosive, physically talented receivers Baylor's had. And like when you're thinking about guys like Jay Lee, Levi Norwood, Clay Fuller, those are like your fifth option. That's talent, bro. Like Jay Lee and Clay Fuller would be number ones or twos at a lot of schools. And they were like the fourth or fifth option on this Baylor team.
Well, Clay Fuller married into an incredible basketball family there. Lynx, by the end of the 2015 season, Lynx was the quarterback.
That's right.
Lynx had taken over at quarterback.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
okay, so that's a monster. I guess if we're going to go head to head, though, right now, you would say I'll put Josh Cameron and Corey. I'll put Cole Wilson where KD is, and let's keep going down the line. Let's put Prentice where Goodley is.
Well, you're forgetting Ashton Hawkins, I think.
Oh, let's put Hawkins. Okay, I could actually make an argument. Hawkins would put Hawkins where Cannon is. Where did I say Prentice? Put Cole Wilson where Goodley is. Yep. Then put Prentice up against Jay Lee. Well, that group still takes them. So let's get past that with this year's group. It's Lewis, who I mentioned, and golly, Jaden Porter was being talked about like a surefire, like NFL dude, and that guy can't even get on the field. There's nobody like Trigg. There's nobody. Right. There's no tight end that matches up with Trigg because they didn't really use a tight. They had, I guess they did, yeah.
Baylor's only ever before Trigg had one tight end that I would call great, and that was Ben Sims. That was Ben Sims in 2021. Was great. He's still playing in the NFL, by the way. never under Bryles did we have a weapon like Trigg. So that is unique to this year's team. But here's what I will say, Matt. When I looked at these numbers, what this year's receiving core I think could do is replicate. You see how I mentioned it at the top. Corey Coleman, 64 receptions, KD 58, Antoine Goodley, 60. If you asked me at the end of the season, would I be surprised if that's what Cameron, Wilson, and Hawkins look like in some order, that all of them have around 60 or 70 receptions? That would not surprise me. And if that's true, those yardage and touchdown numbers here for those three guys might be very similar to what we see for the other three.
Can you imagine what pace Sawyer? I mean, we can do it pretty easily. We're talking about 419 yards a game. If you extrapolate that over 12 games, you get to about 4,800, near 5,000 yards. I wonder what. Am I doing that right? 48. Yeah.
He's on pace for over 5,000 yards at the moment.
Okay. That's what I was thinking. What I was thinking. So that was Petty's year. What did Petty end up with that year?
That season, he threw for about 3,900 yards.
And he probably had a few games where he was out of the game by halftime because they played those easy teams early. This team played tough teams early and did not play an easy team until the third game. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Seth Russell that year had like 600 passing yards just because he got into so many games in the second half. And they let him play a little bit. But Seth Russell was on pace, I think, to have over 5,000 total yards in 2015. I did not think that receiving core was quite as strong because you lost a couple of those pieces from 14, Goodley, Jay Lee. But Seth Russell was putting up stupid numbers in 15 before he got hurt.
Even when you go back to what RG3 had, and I guess to a certain extent what Nick had, Terrence Williams was on that team with Nick in 12. And I mean, those numbers have to be astounding. And he could have won the Biletnikoff. And then even when you go back to people like Lanier Sampson, whose name and of course Josh before that, Josh flamed out. But talking about Josh Gordon, but some of those guys were just putting up. I mean, the name that wasn't up there that was on the team the year before would have been Reese, right?
Reese.
I mean, so Tevin Reese put up monster numbers, but think about Kendall and Terrence were playing together, weren't they? Kendall Wright and Terrence played together. And I guarantee you, each one of those guys at one of those years had probably over 1,000. Terrence put up crazy numbers his senior year.
And so going back to your kind of very opening argument at the beginning of the show, Matt, this year's Baylor team could be 2012 or 2014. And I make those two comparisons because 2014 is the receiving core we just showed you. It's a team that won the conference, went 10-2, very good football team. 2012 is a team that won 8 games, but Nick Florence, I have not looked this up, so somebody can welcome to correct me in the comments. I believe Nick Florence that season had more total yards than RG3 had the year before as the Heisman winner. In fact, I know, because I remember this from the time, Nick Florence had more total yards than Johnny Manziel when Johnny Manziel accepted the Heisman Trophy. But that defense was so bad. If you'll remember the West Virginia game where the difference was Baylor punted once. That was the only difference in that football game. That defense was so bad that team only won 8 games. So the question before this Baylor team is, can you clean up the defense enough to reach the heights of that 13, 14 team, that 21 team? Or are you going to be more like 2012, where Sawyer Robertson might break every single season passing record Baylor has, and Baylor wins 7 or 8 games?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to find out. But that is the comp, because 2012 is that season you were talking about. Terrence Williams had 1,800 yards that year. He was the Biletnikoff runner-up.
Robert was so great, and let's not act like they didn't support him with a huge PR campaign as well. But he was able to win a Heisman with a team only winning 9 games that year. Does that sound
in the
right?
regular season, yeah.
I would say, okay, and then they played Washington. Was that the year where they won the Heisman? I think Sawyer has to keep playing like he is, and they probably have to win 10 games for him to have a shot at the Heisman this year. I think anything under 10, there's going to be too much SEC or ACC stuff with Cam in the with Beck in the running and Mateer and players like that. There's too many of those guys hanging around. But if Baylor wins 10 games, that's going to be tough because they've already dropped one. But if he continues this, then he would at least get to go to New York. And I would make the argument, I know we need to go here, but I would make the argument, Scotty, that RG3 is probably the most important player in Baylor history, won a Heisman. I would say, Singletary's right there. I mean, Singletary was just unreal. And I was a kid when he was there, but I mean, it was Singletary and then it was RG3. And those are the 2 greatest players in Baylor history. And there are some of those old timers, unbelievable. But not those. I think those are the 2 we would all admit are the best. Like Sawyer could end up going down even after if he just plays this season and goes on the NFL as like one of the top 5 or 10 most important players in Baylor history. So like you got RG3, you got Singletary, and then whether it be Bull or Elkins and all that, I get all that. Okay, I don't want to get into the old timers because they were incredible. I get all that, but wow, that's where Sawyer is headed, to be in that conversation with among the most important Baylor players of all time, and a guy who, as my old co-host Randy Galloway would say, saved all butts. That's what he used to say about people. He saved all butts. All right, the Landing. Love the Brazos Landing. The Bang Bang Shrimp. Come on now. Get over there and see the Lindsay family. Claude, Becky. I mean, they were with me for years on the radio. And boy, they've come right over to the streaming side, over here to the YouTube show. And I tell you what we'll be doing soon is one of those live programs, and we'll have the river cam going out there. We'll have the beautiful river in the background, and then I'll be eating my Bang Bang Shrimp. May have some chicken fried steak. Some of the unbelievable steaks. The tenderloin alone is just unreal at the Brazos Landing. It is the Landing. We do it every day at the end of the show, and we talk about our friends and just the greatness of the Brazos Landing. Scotty Swingler's been excellent as always today. Watch Scotty. Scotty and I will be out at the tailgate scene, the Green and Gold Game Day tailgate show with the great Faith Lynch joining us among other stars, and we'll have a great time out there at the tailgate. So join us out there by Brazos Parking in the Camp Fimfo. If you don't know where you're going, say, where's Camp Fimfo? And then if you know the Sikkim 365 people are, we're kind of right next to them. We got a big, beautiful TV set. We'll be hanging out there. Thank you, KWTX. Thank you for making us such a big part of what you do. And thank you to Rogue Media Network. It is Matt Mosley. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Good night, everybody.